Welcome to Our Tampines Hub. Inside Singapore's sports business is here today to talk about sports facilities and infrastructure in Singapore. I'm your host, Adele, and I invite you to explore OTH with me today. Our show is brought to you in collaboration with Sports Singapore and the Tote Board. Let's get rolling. So here to talk to us today about sports facilities and infrastructure in Singapore is Ms. Stella Wong, the Deputy Director of Integrated Programming at People's Association. Thank you for joining us today, Stella.
Hi Adele, welcome to OTH, Our Tampines Hub.
Yes, Our Tampines Hub, OTH, is impressive. When I walked in, I had no idea how large this place actually is. Please give the audience an introduction of OTH.
Okay, OTH, right, Our Tampines Hub is actually one of the first and the largest community and lifestyle hub in Singapore. And then here we are providing a large array of comprehensive and diverse range of programming and services to our Tampines residents and the hub visitors, of course.
Yeah. I'll ask you about the pandemic later, as I asked all our guests in the last 2 years. But can you tell us a bit more about the other activities that I know OTH has so many facilities and activities for different sports, what are some of the other facilities that you guys provide here?
Okay, here at OTH, it sits about an area of 120,000 square meters. So it serves about 30 facilities which range from sports, arts, civics, culturals, and lifestyles facilities to serve the residents. And all in all, the hubs during good days, we have about 300 programmings in a year. So one of the key sporting venues that is in the hub is the sporting venues. So like the stadium, the one that is behind us, which you see, is one of the key locations that we have, which is the home ground for the training ground for our Singapore Premier Leagues. And then we also serve as a training ground for our Tampines Rovers and Geylang International United. So not only that, so we also have a community auditorium, which is at the third level in the hub itself. So at the community auditorium, it actually has 20 inline badminton courts. So later I can show you, and then that's where you can see a resident coming in and out, having their badminton tournament, sports IGs, trainings, and for their leisure playing as well. And then not only that, we have arena at OTH, which is we have two futsal courts, 4 tennis courts, and we also have inline hockey courts as well. Okay, and yes, the list goes on. And we also have the level 5, which is the jogging tracks. So that jogging track is also first of one of its kind in Singapore, in which is in-house, and it serves, each round is about 600 meters. So, and that's where runner, be it professional runner or amateur runners, can take a chance to run around. And then it's also surrounded by Eco Garden, which they have a good scenic when they run at the level 5 of the jogging tracks.
So because this is a business show, and I always blame my producer, he likes numbers. Can you tell us a bit of, can you tell us some numbers? What do you think are the monthly or yearly visitors to OTH?
Okay, the visitors, right, during good days, we can have a very high frequency, which is about 1 million to about 1.5 million of hub visitors plus the Tampines residents coming forward for programming. Yeah.
1 million to 1.5 million. Yeah. Wow.
So in fact, we are always on a continuous effort. We like to welcome more and more residents to be back with us for more of the content at the hub itself.
And that 1 million to 1.5 million visitors a year?
No, a month.
A month?
Yes, it's not a year, it's a month.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, this is one of the active hubs that we're always proud to say. Yeah.
And so then, which brings us to our second question, I guess. How different were things here during COVID? You've built this beautiful hub, and you have such high engagement, 1.5 million, up to 1.5 million visitors a month. And then what happened during the pandemic?
Okay, so when back in 2020, April and May period, so when we were told by the government that there was a lockdown, so it was a kind of like a surprise for all of us. Can you imagine a place which is of 1.5 million overnight becomes like, you cannot have any people to come in. So what we do is we have ventured ourselves into online programmings. So the team with sports programming, we engage our international fitness to have international content from Brazil, Malaysia, Taiwan, Japan, so that to engage our residents in the different ways. And then we also have small scales at the point of time because of social distancing and the requirement by the MTI. So we have been having fitness sessions, but in a smaller capacity, not like the huge capacity we do. So we believe in different continuous efforts to engage our residents in a different way.
So Stella, where were you guys engaging your residents and your community members digitally, on which online platforms?
Okay, so we go through it through OTH Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels to have different programmings. So those were the days that residents are made to stay at home, can't go out other than the essential needs. So what we do is we encourage our residents, you can't run, but you can do virtual running, swimming, walking with us. So what we ask them to do is to download apps, track their own distance at their own convenience, at their own leisure time. And then after which, with each of the submission, we will reward the runners or the sports participants with medal, awards, and T-shirts.
Wow.
Yeah,
they
correct.
submit on your Facebook page? Or?
No, actually, we promote it through our Facebook page. So that's where they register with us. And then in which after that, we will ask them to, we'll have them to download it through our sports apps in which they can clock their distance.
Right. I hate to have to ask you this question, but how many followers does OTH have on your Facebook page?
Yes, we have about 130,000 followers. Wow. Yeah. So in fact, our residents always stay tuned to our OTH Facebook to look out for the latest and updated programming at the hub itself.
So this is really a very resident-centric, a very much the people's sports hub, very much the people's Tampines Hub.
Yes, in fact, this hub is for the resident by the residents. So even before the start of this hub itself, back in 2015, so we have formed a focus group in which we ask the resident what do you want at the hub. So general feedback from the hub is, I want a sports stadium, I want platforms that allows me to do sports regularly, and that's where how you have seen that we have come with the stadium and the community auditoriums and the jogging tracks for the residents to be engaged with us.
Gosh, must be the slots must be so popular on the weekends, right?
Yes. On the whole, when residents come forward to the hub for programming, so on the average, they spend about 2 hours with us. So we also have other facilities, like we have tenants who serve foods. We have a hawker center, and then we also have a supermarkets, and even a library, which is of 4-level high, that's catered for our residents of different age group.
And a theatre.
And a theatre, yes. We also have a Festive Arts Theatre, which screens movie, arts performance, concerts, different genre of programming for the residents. Yeah.
Did you say you were also screening the sports like SPL or what?
Yes, so this is also the stadium that we host the Singapore Premier League matches across the year. And yes, so in a year we host about 28 of them. And so the two football clubs, which is the Tampines Rovers Football Club and the Geylang International United Club, they actually use this as a training ground to prepare themselves for the league competition.
Well, going back a bit to the change that you guys had to deal with during the pandemic, so OTH also served as a vaccination center, right? How difficult or how smooth a transition was that when OTH had to start providing that kind of vaccination services for the residents?
So the vaccination center is actually at our inline hockey courts. So at that point of time, we will have to cease whatever programming that we have at the court itself. So to support the MOH for this vaccination movements. So at that point, we just vacated and then we held MOH for the smooth transition to prepare themselves to provide the vaccination for our residents. We do see that need because at that point of time, government was encouraging all of us to get our vaccination soon. So we are one of the sites that provide the vaccination service to our residents.
Was it hard for the staff at OTH to provide this new service, or I guess all of us had to kind of scramble to adapt to the changes during COVID, during the lockdowns?
It was tough, but I have to say, fortunately, we have overcome it. So in fact, at each of the phases, whichever phases of COVID we are at, we are always at a continuous effort to engage our residents in a different way. So from physical during COVID, pre-COVID days, to online, And then as we slowly open up, we also go into hybrid. That means to say the resident can choose to come physically with us on a smaller capacity, or they can choose for online platforms. So we hope in times to come, we will be ready for more activities with larger numbers of participants.
So we're now in March of 2022. The last few months, maybe the last 3 to 6 months, have you seen an improvement, I guess, in physical engagement coming back, people flowing back into OTH for activity?
Yes, for sure. So for every of the announcement which the MTI made, we work around the guidelines. And then when we are open up, we will be the first to launch new programming, new platforms to welcome our residents back. Take for instance, when it comes to sports competitions, so now that some of the sports can open up to 5 or 10 players per courts, so that's where we already start planning to have the next badminton, table tennis competitions at the hub itself. And also for the Singapore Premier League, the latest is we allow up to 2,005 of the vaccinated audience to be here to support their favorite teams. So whichever the capacity allow, we will do within our best, within the safe guidelines to welcome our resident back.
Do you have any memories, I guess, in the last few months of, when things changed and people were allowed back together, whether to watch a show or to participate in sports or programs? Do you have any fond memories of those instances?
I think, yes, one of the key memories that always live with us is on the last August itself. So when we announced that we can have 1,000 packs of live performance, and that's where the team has gone into much efforts to do up a concert on the 21st of August. So that concert itself happens at OTH Town Square. So it's a concert of 2 hours where we welcome 1,000 vaccinated residents with us, seated with social distancing, to watch a concert. And that was memorable moments because for the artist itself, that is also after 18 months where they can see live audience. And also for the resident, they have a delightful moment is, they finally need to see something which is online, which is live performance. But they are very, I would say our residents work very obedient. They listen to what we have. We told them that, no food and drinks within the town square. They adhere to, and then we told them no mingling. So they also, obey the rules throughout the whole concert, which I thought was amazing.
Do you think that in the last, I guess, this very special 2 years that we've just been through, do you feel like there's a new appreciation or more hunger for sports activities, or the demand has grown for what the facilities that OTH offers?
I would say yes. After a good 24 months, definitely the demands for activities will be growing, for say, because once since the announcement, which is from the MTI on the 11th of March, so we also have started to open up our town square for public booking, where footballer can start to have their 2 hours of sessions. So when the portal was open, first thing we saw that our slot was secured. And then when we roll out more content, our participation rate has definitely risen. So as we engage residents through different platforms, we do survey with them as well, ask them how do you feel. They say that they are always grateful for what we have provided, and then to say that different angles, different venues, different engagement point, at least it provides them connection point, interaction points, to make friends. Yeah,
I'm sure like engagement and the activities here at OTH must have been very popular even pre-COVID, right? But did you see a difference in the enthusiasm after things started opening up in the pandemic, or?
Yes, the enthusiasm is definitely there. The interest is there as well. So residents always write into us to say that, where can I have this and that? Can I see the return of the league, the football league? Sports clinics. So when is the next time that I can engage for new programming?
So they write into us.
Yes, they write into us to say that the last I have my good experience at the Champion League finals, that I watch it with my 5,000 friends. Right. When is the time that I can have my football screening again? Right. Yeah, but of course, if we ever were to bring back, safety parameter has to go in place for the safety of our residents.
So Stella, share with us, how do you think a world-class sports facility like OTH contributes to the sports scene in Singapore?
So at OTH, at our Tampines Hub, we do have several key sports venues. I think one of the biggest that all of us are aware is the 5,000 Town Square, which is this one, which sits about 5,000 seats. And then this is a FIFA Pro certified football pitch. And because of having this, this also serves as a training grounds for our Tampines Rovers and Geylang International Uniteds. So next we have a community auditorium, which is an indoors 20 courts badmintons with 2,000 retractable seats that's meant for spectator seats as well. And not only that, our co-locating partner ActiveSG manage a few key sporting locations like the Team Sports Hall. So in the Team Sports Hall, at the Team Sports Hall is actually indoors competition venues where we have seen many matches like handball, volleyball, netball, all the court games that's been held with about 1,008 retractable seats as well. And then we also have a gym, which is at level 7 at OTH, which meant for the residents. And not only that, at level 6, we have a swimming pool, which is with a 6 purposeful pools that's meant for different interests for the swimmer, and the professional pools as well. So yeah, the list goes on. And then we also have a jogging track at level 5, which also which is about 600 meters, which provides the amateurs and professional runners as a place to train for their running on their speeds. And then it's also a place for our residents to take leisure walk itself. And last but not least, we have an arena at OTH, which we have 2 futsal court, 4 tennis court, and an inline hockey. So at the venue itself, other than futsal, tennis, inline hockey, in fact, that is a community-based purposes that allows many of the sports interest group like volleyball, basketball, netball, you name it, we have it, in which we have it at the arena.
Almost every sport I think you've covered.
Correct.
Table tennis, you have.
We have it at community auditorium.
Swimming, okay, you have track, so all the track stuff. Squash?
Squash, cannot, because that one needs a wall, so that's the only one. But we cover most of it, so a lot of time we do engage the NSA to welcome them to the hub itself to have a look, and then let this place serve as a training ground for their
professional athletes.
So currently the National Floorball Association is sending the athletes here for training.
Our national team trains here.
Yes, correct, at the Team Sports Hall.
I know our national floorball team's quite strong.
Yeah, correct, yes, correct. So we do our best and we work very closely with our co-locating partner, ActiveSG, to churn out different programming so that to make sure that this place is well utilized for different sports content.
I'm sure it's so popular with not just residents, people who don't live in Tampines will also flow in here for the facilities, right?
Yeah. Whenever we do programming, we always ask the resident, where were you from? Where are you from? How you have heard of us? You know, they say, I'm from Jurong, I'm from Sembawang.
Jurong?
Yes.
From Jurong, they come to Tampines.
Yeah, so I say when they come, we always welcome them with open arms. I say thank you for considering us and coming with us. So when they are here, they're just not only for sports programming, we also have other tenants. We have a library, we have a festive arts theatre for arts performance. So there's always something for everyone in Tampines Hub.
What about on the community level? So I know you mentioned earlier that you serve the residents a lot. How young would you say some of your participants are? You have like sports clinics for them as well?
Yes, correct. So a lot of time, we other than ActiveSG that we work with for the sports agency, we do work with our Tampines grassroots organization, which is the Community Sports Club, because those are the grassroots leaders who actually organize different sports content. So actively involve them because they are the closest to the resident. They will know what the residents want. So we hear from their feedback and then to see what's the interest. So we used to have football clinics, table tennis, most of the popular sports that's in Singapore. Hopefully to grow the next sports athletic profession in Singapore.
So for really young kids?
Yeah.
So you see the whole families coming, children are attending clinics?
Yeah, so we actually, but of course sports has different age group, you see. So you can't have a 12 to play with a 5. So take for instance football. So we segregate them in a different age group, like the 5 to 6, 7 to 12, etc., etc. And we also have a different categories for the youth as well, who are of higher age groups to try out the sports in a different way.
Wow. So do you see on weekends families doing, like mom somewhere doing something and the kids are attending one other thing?
So let's say you come in a family of 4, the kids will be having the sports clinic, the moms will be in the supermarket doing groceries, the daddies could be at our Festive Plaza watching the movies, performance, and yeah. So on average, they spend about half a day here.
Half a day?
Yeah. And then if they want, most of the time, they'll end of the day having a meal at either our tenant's location or at the hawker center.
Wow, really heavily utilized facility.
That's why we see a footfall $1 million a month.
Okay, now it completely makes sense. Now I
Right.
understand.
Yes.
So Stella, after sharing with us, so much about the facilities that Our Tampines Hub offers, do you think you can now give us a sneak peek about the future of OTH? Do you have any plans? What can we expect for 2022?
Yes, exciting plans ahead. So once it's announced that we have to go back to a normal life, work within the guidelines. So in fact, the team has already planned engaging different vendors, partners to roll out the next exciting programming at the hub itself. So upcoming is Hari Raya. So we're going to have a Hari Raya concert on the 14th of May. Which, yes, in fact, based on the latest guideline, we can have 2,005 of our residents back with us. Double vaccination, I think the good news is no social distancing required and mask on all the time. So that is also a piece of good news. And then at the end of May, to welcome this June holiday, we're going to have the OTH Arts Festival for the very first time at the hub itself, never before in the community. So residents can look out for lots of programming from the performance, musical shows, arts and crafts, sports activities, etc., etc. So I shall not say much. Do stay tuned to our OTH Facebook to find out more. And then as for sports, yes, with the guidelines lifted, we already engage our grassroots, vendors, partners. In fact, all of that. I can't wait to be back. So up and coming, you will see more people at this town square, the field, not just 50s, 100s. We hope we can bring more numbers in terms of fitness, competitions, spectators, sitter-ins, etc. And then at level 5, we may not be subjected to approval from the Sports SG as well, the sporting agencies. So we will do more challenges, walkathon, running events to engage our residents in the different ways. So yeah, competition-wise, yes, residents can't wait to get themselves fit again. So to feed the Malay communities, we will have sepak takraw competitions. We're going to have a community auditorium, badminton, table tennis, frisbee, clinics. Yeah, we hope to be back like what we were in 2019.
So you have all these sports clinic lined up in the pipeline that you...
Yes, badminton, table tennis.
Is this for the younger, for kids? Or
for everybody. Yes, so if the elderly were to come, we used to do walking football for the elderly. So once if our futsal court is open, we will bring back as well. And then we used to do football league with the little kids of different age groups. Yes, that is also one of the key items that we are planning for. Yep. Then of course, as the months leads by, we will have our 5th anniversaries, OTA 5th anniversaries in August, National Day celebration, year-end countdown. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hope we have excite you with our upcoming programming at the hub itself. So most of the time we publicize our residents will stay tuned to our programming through our OTH Facebook. So they will register and then turn up for the activities.
So much to look forward to in terms of programming here at OTH. And I can't wait to also check out, because this is my first time here, I can't wait to actually check out some of the facilities that you guys have here. So I'll take a walk.
Yes, please do. I'll be your host.
Okay, yes, please do. Yeah. So we have showcased some footages to our audiences as we air this interview. Stella, thank you so much for joining us today.
No worries, anytime for you.
Make sure to check out the OTH Facebook page.
Yes.
Where else do you engage? You have a YouTube channel.
Yes, we have a YouTube channel where we showcase our performance, arts performance, online performance for our audience. So we have a Facebook, we have a Telegram, and an Instagram.
We have a Telegram group as well.
Yeah. So we believe in different profiles because our targets, our audience are from the young to the age, you see. So like the youth who would like to be connected to Instagram, the 30s and the 40s or the 50s would like to go to Facebook, depending on which genres, which they like to be connected with.
Cool. We'll stay tuned. Thank you so much.
No worries. Okay, thank you.
And this concludes today's episode of ISSB. Make sure you join us again next time on the last episode of Inside Singapore Sports Business.